finding that purpose is there's a process to that, right? And I think people go about that by looking for other things to really distract themselves from their lives and truly not taking the time and diving inward and really allowing that purpose to come forward because it's not really about finding purpose. It's about connecting with purpose and allowing that purpose to come forward. First thing is what you just said is to acknowledge, have the awareness that what you're doing is no longer serving you. Okay?
Mm.
Because it's challenging to peel away from what we've learned, these beliefs about who we're supposed to be
Sure.
and how much money we're supposed to make and what our life is supposed to look like, right? So we first have to detach from that and peel away from that. You be okay with not knowing, right? As long as that takes. Because what's happening is while you're sitting there not knowing, you're feeling all of this conditioning because your mind and your body is going to be saying, this isn't right. You need to know. You need to be doing something, right? You need to
Oh,
be
for sure.
right. Those are the thoughts that come up.
Yeah.
So be okay and sit in presence with those thoughts and we fully embrace them and we fully feel them because
Hello, Mark. Good morning by you. How are you doing?
good morning. I'm doing well, doing well. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Great to have you again on the show. And I want us to dive right inside into the big question of, I think of the past generation, purpose.
Mhm.
Everyone is looking for purpose. People want to know what's their purpose. Not only people, even big companies, like they'll say, okay, let's say we're a venture capital, but we have this is our purpose, this is our mission. We
Yeah.
go and help people there, we go contribute there. Like everyone today are around purpose, not only individuals, I think
Hmm.
also as in a whole. Before we talk about, I would love to hear more about, how we find our purpose, and we'll talk about that soon. You have a special way. I want to understand first, why do you think everyone today are talking about purpose? Why, like, is that the main thing today? Purpose meaning.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think a lot of people are talking about purpose today because there's just this thing deep inside that is not being fulfilled. It's just not, they can't fill this, think of a cup, right? Like that cup's got a hole in it and they keep adding to it, but it never gets full. So it's just a matter of realizing that maybe there's something different out there than where you've been looking to start to fill that cup and to start to feel a little bit more fulfilled in life.
Interesting. So you're saying that maybe the place, I'm trying to think together with you, but maybe that hole that you said that there's in the cup, maybe
Mhm.
the hole is there because we're looking in the wrong places.
Yeah, we can't fill it. So it's like there's a hole, and we keep doing things that we think will fill that cup. So, for example, we're taught from a very, through education and things like that. You go to school, you learn all these things that teach you how to navigate society and societal norms, which often means, getting a job, and then people get married, and then they go get, they start a family, they buy a house, they have a mortgage, all these types of things. And, a decade or two down the road, they realize, okay, what I've been doing for all these years isn't fulfilling me. So people start to go out and try to find other things that will do that, and they will distract themselves from this emptiness that they feel inside. So it's operating from a perspective that is driven by society and by cultural conditioning and not true to the heart for what really fulfills them. And that's kind of like that noise out there that just keeps people distracted and keeps them separated from that feeling of fulfillment to be able to really fill that inner cup.
Oh, amazing. So you're basically saying that people, correct me if I'm wrong, but people are not going through, are not listening inside to their unique self. They have different noise that they got when they grew up in college and school, and they're letting that noise to, to direct them on a path that is not necessarily theirs.
Yeah, these are beliefs that people accept. We call them limiting beliefs throughout their life when they're young, when they're growing up. Like, if you do these things, you will be happy. You will be fulfilled. You want to get a great job. You want to do all these things. And that becomes the focus of the direction in life. So people, for example, might tend to look at a career choice based on the amount of money that they can make from it. So they let this cultural conditioning determine their life path. but their soul, their higher self has something else in store for them. And this path that's been carved by cultural conditioning and by these limiting beliefs is not aligning with that greater purpose.
Understand. We'll go back to the soul in a second. And I'm really interested about that, what you have to say. But a second before that, I want to understand like why today? Like why in these generations, the past two generations, what we're hearing in the media, what we're hearing all around us has such a big influence. Maybe it was also like that in the past, but I didn't hear 100 years ago people, oh, I wasn't alive, but
Yeah.
what's my purpose? What's my meaning? Like it sounds like today the population, what's going around has a big, influence on us, and I'm trying to understand why today is it much more than what it was in the past.
Well, I think that noise gets louder. And as that noise gets louder, people start to take a look at that external noise and something awakens within them. And they start to say, you know what? That just isn't doing it for me anymore. There's something deep inside that is coming forward now. And this gets into what's happening with humanity and collectively with people awakening, right? And shifting out of old cultural conditionings and dropping limiting beliefs that no longer serve them. So this voice is just getting louder and louder, and they're starting to question these conditions and these beliefs that they've oftentimes we've inherited them, right? It's gone down generationally. Decades ago, that was just humanity was just so unconscious to it, to that inner voice, that they were just expected to do these things, and they didn't look in another direction. They really couldn't perceive that inner voice. But now, because of what's happening on the planet, things are getting louder. That inner voice is getting louder as well, and people are starting to question what they've been told, what they've been taught, and what they've believed.
Wow. And I think that brings up like a lot of questions because you've been taught so many things through life. And you say, wait, but
Mhm.
that's my grandmother told me, and that my father told me, and people you admire. And many times these questions come up, but wait, how can it be that what they're saying is not true? Because I really admire them and they're really smart, and you could
Yeah.
give a whole list of reasons why you should
Mhm.
listen. But as you said just like 2 minutes ago, I think if we don't listen inside, and today I think there's a big shift in awakening to listening inside. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what other people told us because that's them and that's their path. And when
Yes.
we don't listen inside to whatever is our path and we think what these smart people are saying is for us, I think the noise that you're talking about will get much louder, right? My
Yeah.
question is how do I start to understand, okay, I understand that I have my own unique path. And by the way, I think the people around me, whatever they're saying, if I appreciate them, is amazing. We could take tools from
Mhm.
them. But
Sure.
that's great. What I'm trying to understand is how do I listen inside? I think today, like there's so much noise outside. Now I was talking really nice about people I admire and things like that, but there's also noise that is not from people we admire and limiting beliefs we grew up from school or different things or social media. That it's really hard to, like you told people, be quiet, go to a quiet place, just listen inside. They're like how do you
Yeah.
start listening inside and know the difference between inside and the limiting beliefs, because maybe those limiting beliefs will come up and say we're the inside, and then like
Hmm.
wait, which one is the inside?
Right. Yeah.
Like they might be wearing a costume, the limiting beliefs, all those
Yeah.
noises are wearing a costume that says inside, but that's not your inside. So
Yeah.
how do you listen inside, and how basically you talk about, then we'll jump into before we jump into the through the quantum world, but I first
Hmm.
want to understand that.
Well, there are patterns that you can look for. And, for one, when you're living a life that is not aligned with, your purpose, you're going to start to get fatigued. You're going to get tired. You're going to feel exhausted. You're going to get bored. It becomes like a chore to maintain it and to keep it up. You start to lose interest in things. Your mind will start to get you focused on other interests or come up with hobbies. People will go off and travel. They'll start buying and accumulating things, right, to try to avoid that inner truth that is starting to come forward. And that's what makes this such a unique point in history right now for humanity, is that people are now, especially the younger generation, they're starting to look at these old structures like the old education system and getting all these degrees and those kind of things, and they're looking at that and they're rejecting that now. They're starting to pull away from that because they feel that
Yeah.
there is a different way of doing things. So that's one way there. How do you feel? Are you happy when you wake up in the morning? Are you excited, right? Or are you just kind of going through the motions? The other way is you could just simply look at people who have lived and they're close to the end of their life and they've accumulated success. They've been successful. They've accumulated wealth. They've done all these fantastic things as would be defined by society, and yet they feel like they still don't feel fulfilled. They feel like they've missed something or missed an opportunity, and you got to ask yourself, do I want to get to that stage in life before I realize that what I've been spending my energy on has not been fulfilling me,
Mm.
all of these years?
Wow. I think getting there to that point in life, that's not so fun. I'll say
Yeah,
at the least,
yeah.
you
And
know.
many people you read those stories all the time. I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. I wish I had been, slowed it down. And I wish I would have done things more that truly light me up, that I truly enjoy, not what others expect me to do.
Oh, that's beautiful. You said the word, I wish I would have done this, done that. I think a lot of it is kind of a combination between doing a lot, you need to try, and also
Hmm.
being, like, not only doing, we're
The
human.
balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
and I want to go back just 2 minutes ago. You said that how do you wake up in the morning? Are you energized? Do you feel well? And I would like to talk about the energy in a second, but before that, I'll share what I think. You could, of course, disagree or agree.
Sure.
And I think that also when we are on our journey and we are in our path of our unique soul, it doesn't mean that every morning I'm waking up, hey, amazing, good morning, like, how are you doing? I might be waking up and I'm like, man, this is going to be a challenging day, but I know inside that I'm here for this. I'm here to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could tell you a few things I do in volunteer. Like, uh, I'm there. Many times they challenge me. Like, it's not that I'm like amazing.
Hmm.
Sometimes yes, because I see the results, but sometimes not. And so I think people need to understand it's not our mission is not to wake up happy every day. It's to feel that we're going on a purpose. I always tell myself we're here to serve a
Yes.
purpose that is greater than
Hmm.
ourselves. And it doesn't mean we'll feel happy, but we'll feel fulfilled. Hopefully, that would also bring happiness. Uh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. That's a great clarification because when you wake up in the morning, when you're working from that unconscious state and you're working according to conditioning and these limiting beliefs, it's almost like you're going through the motions, right? So you're not feeling that sense of fulfillment. When you're living your purpose, it's not that you're not going to have challenges because challenges are a part of growth. But when
Mm.
you wake up in the morning, you may have fear of those challenges, but you're ready and prepared and you have the energy to meet them head on and do that. And that's the thing that propels you forward. So that's a very good distinction. But one way of knowing, like I said, that you're not on your path is by waking up and just being like, like the routine day over and over and over again, all the same thing. You know what I mean?
Or you just don't want to get up. You're like, you know what?
Or you don't want to get up. Yeah.
Like, I had enough. I just, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So even though your true path may have challenges, and it will have challenges, there will be a sense of excitement in overcoming those challenges, right? Whereas in the day to day, the old way, the conditioned way, you're going to go through these things and just not be lit up by it. It's just kind of like, oh, I have to do this. So there is a distinction there. But finding that purpose there's a process to that, right? And I think people go about that by looking for other things to really distract themselves from their lives and truly not taking the time and diving inward and really allowing that purpose to come forward because it's not really about finding purpose. It's about connecting with purpose and allowing that purpose to come forward.
beautiful, beautiful. I really connect to what you said now, finding the purpose. We are souls that come here with a purpose. So if correct me if I understand, you're right, but we need to connect to basically unfold whatever is there already and to be
Hmm.
able to connect it and see it. And what I'm trying to understand, because it's easy now to talk, we're both, nice energy around. But at the end of the day, when someone's not, is not in like in a connection with his purpose, and like you said, he wakes up in the morning and he's like, man, another day, or it's like I'm fatigued, I had enough. How do you start? How do you start a connection? Like, what are the steps to connect to your purpose? You said to connect to your purpose through the quantum field. I would love to hear more about that.
Mhm.
And in addition to the steps about, connecting to your purpose, I also want people to understand that yes, you're going out to give steps, but it's not like, okay, I woke up in the morning, okay, I'm in my purpose. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, you'll go through it. I would love to hear more about that.
Yeah.
Like, basically, I'll end here and say a lot of people today, Mark, a lot of people wake up and they're like for 5, 6, 7 years in their job, and they're like, okay,
Hmm.
they might even make money, like you said, even a lot of money, and maybe not, but they had enough. It's like, okay, something inside is screaming like,
Yes.
This is not you. Like, change. Like, how do you start doing that?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is what you just said is to acknowledge. Have the awareness that what you're doing is no longer serving you. Okay?
Mm,
Because it's challenging to peel away from what we've learned, these beliefs about who we're supposed to be
sure.
and how much money we're supposed to make and what our life is supposed to look like, right? So we first have to detach from that and peel away from that and being aware of those feelings of I've done this 6, 7, 8 years, 10 years, and it's just not advancing me forward internally. You need to recognize that and you need to be aware of that and you start to get present with that. Okay, you want to feel that. Okay, because that will help you acknowledge it and pull yourself away from the unconscious behavior of operating purely by these limiting beliefs. So that's the first step is recognizing it, having awareness of it.
When you say recognizing it, you mean recognize and fight it, or recognize and accept this is where we are right now? Which,
Recognize and accept it. You gotta be able to say to yourself, okay, what I have been doing most of my life is no longer serving me. Okay, it's not fulfilling me. It's not energizing me. I almost feel like I'm going through the motions. Okay, to maintain some sort of an identity that society said that's who I am, right? So that
oh,
gets old. And at some point, you need to be able to recognize that. Otherwise, you get to the 80-year-old, 85, 90-year-old that says, wow, I should have made a change decades ago and I didn't because I didn't realize that I wasn't living life according to my terms. So awareness of that, recognizing that is really the first step.
okay. So if we, well, before we go to the next step, so when I recognize that, how do I recognize? I recognize it by listening inside, by listening to the noise. Like, how does someone recognize that something with her is not going right because he did this for years or she did this for years? It's not so easy to recognize.
Yeah.
How does someone recognize, just maybe a small tip before I move for the next step?
Well, your soul is going to be speaking to you. Okay. So we all, get a sense that just like something's not right, right? Have you had that feeling like just I'm going through these motions, but just something just doesn't feel right deep within. So we acknowledge that. We accept that feeling. Okay. And that allows us to really detach or create space between us and this avatar that our limiting beliefs and cultural conditioning has created so that we could start to see it. And then we could say to ourselves, look, something needs to change within me. I don't know what it is, okay, but this life that I've been leading is just no longer serving me. So it's about allowing yourself to feel that and experience that energy and that inner voice that says something's just out of whack. Okay, that's the first step. We have to acknowledge it because if we don't acknowledge it, we're never going to be able to get present and centered to be able to allow something new to come forward.
Yeah, like you said, you'll get to 90 years old, like you said before, you'll be 90 and you'll say, hey, like I'm just going all my life in someone else's path because I was going through different, limiting beliefs. So I guess
Yeah.
recognizing it is the first really important one, otherwise can't do the rest.
Awareness of it. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. So that's number one.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah. And so
how
the
do
next step really, oh, go ahead.
no, no, I'm really curious to hear how are we going to
Yeah. And,
focus
and here's where
together?
people get caught up. Okay. At that stage, so they're aware, okay, it's like something I need to make a change in my life, in what I'm doing. So immediately they will start to look for their purpose externally. Okay, so there's something out there that I should be doing. What is it? And that separates themselves from that information, right? It's like a lack, frequency of lack. I don't know my purpose. So they jump from one thing to another. Okay, I've changed that job or career. Now I'm doing this. That's my purpose. And then years will go on and they'll be like, no, I'm still feeling that emptiness inside, right? So that step really is to be able to allow yourself to just become present with this knowing that how you've been living your life no longer serves you. You need to be okay with this so that you can create space internally. So it means you got to fully feel that you're ready for things to change, for something new to come forward, and be okay with not knowing what that is immediately. Okay? Recognizing that you're not on the path you should be, that you want to be on, and then being okay with not knowing that path is a crucial phase in discovering your purpose. You have to go through this phase of not knowing it in the moment.
Wow. I
Okay.
want to stop here for a second. We're in I forgot where it was that I heard they did a research like what really bothers people. I forgot where it was, and so many people said that they're not enough. And
Yeah.
when someone feels they're not enough, that a lot of times will also mean that being okay with it won't be there because we will get sad by myself. Like
Yeah.
I was criticizing myself. Like, how is it that you're not on your purpose? Like, move, go, do this.
Yes.
And th this part is so important to understand. It's beautiful what you're saying, and it's more beautiful you're saying, hey, listen, everyone, this is part of the journey.
That's
All good.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
okay. And this is so crucial what you're saying. And thank you for that, Mark. This for telling people, hey, okay, you recognize beautiful, you're aware, being okay with it. Wow.
So
Yeah,
here's what happens. So if I recognize that, okay, we're using just a career path, it could be a relationship, just life in general, whatever it is,
anything.
no longer serves. Okay. And I need in that moment to find its replacement. I am operating still from that cultural conditioning and limiting beliefs. Okay. So you will move into a new situation that will be a reflection of the old situation. It just will look different, but energetically, it's the same. So you're going to have those same feelings of not having purpose and just not feeling aligned and not feeling energized and fulfilled because all you've done was just changed the external manifestation of the situation, but energetically it's the same. So you'll move into a new relationship, maybe you'll move into a new job. Maybe it's going to look great in the beginning. You're going to be excited because it's new. I made a change. I found my purpose, but energetically it's the same thing. You see? So it's important to be able to acknowledge, take a step back and be like, okay, this isn't resonating, but that's okay. I don't know at this moment what will resonate, but I need to acknowledge that.
Being okay with not knowing.
Yeah,
You're saying
right?
that in a era that everything is about, knowledge and so much
Gotta
information.
know.
It's like this your mind is going crazy. So it's
Yes.
just be okay with not knowing. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Everyone just listen to that wherever you are in life. It doesn't matter career,
Yeah.
relationship, you're debating, sports. Just be okay. It's fine. It's fine not to know.
Hmm.
Well, forget about the part that more you know, you understand you don't know. That's a different subject. But
Right. Yeah, that's a whole other
yeah,
conversation, right?
that's a
But
different
here's the
conversation.
thing, though, too. So we're detaching from this old, and we'll use the career, right? Or the job. We're detaching from that. We know it no longer serves. I'm not making a change in this moment because I don't know what will serve. But by being okay with not knowing, what I'm doing is I'm starting to see that career as just a temporary placeholder right now while I do my inner healing work. So that's still there, but it's not me. It's not identify. I don't identify it as me anymore. There's a new me coming forward, and I am honoring that space and giving that time to manifest. So I'm no longer attached to the career as part of my identity. I'm now basically just holding space for something new to come forward. So that again, that is such a powerful stage that people skip over. And then they'll come to me and they'll say, "How come I'm still in the same situation? I've been through three jobs or three girlfriends or whatever, and it's the same thing." Well, because you're operating from that old identity still.
Wow, beautiful. And it is, by the way, a total different energy. If you understand, you're accepting where you are, and you understand that your job is temporary now. It's not who you are. It's
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
helping, in this step of the journey. Beautiful. So, if we recognize, we're aware, and we're accepting where we are, what's the next step?
Well, we allow, okay, so the more we detach from that identity and that old life may still be operating, what you're doing is you are allowing for a new aspect of you to come forward in this lifetime, okay, through this physical vessel. So your soul's energy now becomes more present in your day-to-day life, meaning you start to feel that you're more empowered and in control over your path going forward. It's no longer being controlled by cultural conditioning or limiting beliefs because you've done a great job of creating that awareness that that no longer serves you. It's like installing new programming, right? Or allowing a new instruction book to land. That's the analogy that I use. And once you start to quiet that mind down of having to find your purpose and you just be present with the sense of not knowing it, opportunities start to present themselves. You're more available to start to perceive them because you're no longer looking through the focused lens of that cultural conditioning. Okay, because that cultural conditioning could say, too hard to be an entrepreneur. I've got to go find another job, right? So when you detach from that and you start to get present, maybe, ideas start to come forward. You no longer have those limiting beliefs that say you can't do it. And all of a sudden you find that you have the energy and the excitement to step forward and try something new that maybe you wouldn't have in the past because it didn't feel safe.
Wow. So if I understand correctly, we also need to detach from that belief that we must find our purpose, because it's
Yeah.
also some type of cultural belief. So just being
Yes, it
okay.
is. Yes.
So just okay, putting that aside, where we
Yeah.
are is fine. And you're using the word detach a lot, and I think it's beautiful. I will say personally, I don't believe it happens in one morning. It's a practice, like anything in life. Like a
Absolutely.
baby never just got up and started running. It
That's
tried,
right.
standing and then walking a little bit and fall and then get up. So I think detaching is beautiful, and I really connected to what you said and loved it, that also detaching from the fact that we must find our purpose now. Like, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Right now we are where we are and just be open to whatever comes. Take a deep breath. You talk about breathing also in your channel, so maybe just take
Yeah.
a deep breath and
It's like take a deep breath, quiet the mind, pull the energy back out of that mental body, mental field, and regather yourself and realize that things are okay. I feel safe. In this moment, everything is fine. And that will bring a new level of energy forward for you that will shift the way you think. It will literally shift your mindset.
wow. Okay. That's it doesn't
Yeah.
sound easy to do, but it sounds for
Like
sure.
hitting the pause button, on the mind when the mind's doing this. And you just
Yeah.
take a deep breath, put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath in, connect with your body. Your mind will slow down and quiet, and you'll start to feel a little bit more confident, a little safer, a little more secure right where you are in this moment. The mind's always in the future. What am I going to do next? What if this doesn't happen? I need that to happen, right? Always.
Yeah.
And when you're thinking from that level of energy, it's a very narrow focus. It's based on what you've learned and what you've been conditioned. So in order to expand into new opportunities and bring new forward, you need to pull away from that way of thinking. And we do that by connecting with the body. And breath work connects you with the body.
For sure. Well, if you take the program for the past and you put in the future, it will be the same thing. So
You're going to, exactly. It's the same result, right?
for sure. And it's beautiful, like you said, like to put, I like also that you said, put your hand on your heart
Hmm.
and breathe and just, detach. I really connect over that to what you say. I'll add that
Yeah.
also what I do sometimes is sometimes I detach and I look at all those, limiting beliefs or all whatever society put in my mind or the way I grew up, different thoughts and noises. I look at them, it's like I'm zooming out, I'm sitting in a show and they're acting on the stage. And
Yes.
I'm watching, I say, hey, thank you for the popcorn. I appreciate your popcorn. It's pretty good.
Hmm.
Interesting show. I don't really understand why, but like, so kind of just detaching and putting myself in the audience and watching it
Yes.
all on the stage. And I think combination of that and like you said, it's beautiful, like, to feel our heart
Yeah.
Breathe. It's we'll talk more about tools of how we do that after, but
I
it's
will use that analogy a lot in my courses and the things that I teach about the movie, being in the movie, right, or being in the play.
oh,
It's almost like a video game, like virtual reality, almost, right? We're like, so we've got it here, and we're seeing reality through this virtual lens, and we believe that we are the characters in the play or in the movie, when in reality, we're back watching. We're watching it all unfold. And when you're watching it all unfold, you have a greater sense of control or a greater ability to navigate in ways that are outside of the pure script that society has instilled for you, through those beliefs, through that conditioning.
beautiful. So I'm trying now to understand. We're talking a lot about detaching, allowing, just being. Is there
Mhm.
anything I can do? Or is all of this, just okay? I'm aware, I recognize.
Observe your thoughts. Observe your thoughts. Okay. Your thoughts, all of this conditioning does something to your nervous system, right? What it does is it amps up your nervous system. So your nervous system, your body is really the thing that's going to be telling you I need to be doing or thinking of my next step, because your mind has some sort of a goal and your body is saying, okay, well, in order to reach that goal, we need to be doing this, 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 and this. And that creates a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress. So we can look at it from the mental perspective and say, okay, I'm going to observe my thoughts. But one thing that's more powerful is we could get into the actual generator of those thoughts, and that's your body and your nervous system. So when you can learn how to calm your body and calm your nervous system, your mind will calm down. And there are various ways to do that. I know some of that's outside of the scope of this, but for example, breath work, breathing. And on my YouTube channel, I've got some conscious breath work videos that will help you get inside and calm your body, calm your nervous system. And you could ground, you could hug a tree, you could stick your feet in the grass, right? Ground that energy. You could take a salt bath, you could dance. There's so many things you could do to get connected to your body and actually calm your nervous system.
I'll just add, won't add, I'll ask about the whole body that everyone talk about today, listening to the body, listen inside,
Mhm.
listen to the message the body says. I'm like, I hear that a lot, and sometimes also I try breathing, listening. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. What do everyone mean? Listen to the message inside your body. Listen to your body parts. Like you hear that a lot today.
Yeah, well, when you're feeling anxious, if you could bring your attention, because you're going to be focused on the mind, right? What thoughts are making me anxious? What's going on? But when you bring your attention back to the body, you're going to realize that maybe your shoulders are a little tense. Maybe there's tension in your neck. Maybe you're carrying yourself really constricted and really tight, right? That's why you're feeling anxious. So your nervous system is in this sense of fight or flight, right? It senses a problem, and it's not a physical danger, but it's a mental problem that your body doesn't know the difference, and it equates it to a physical danger. So you're tense and you're feeling anxiety, and it's manifesting in all of these thoughts. I need to do this, I need to do that, I got to get this done, I'm falling behind, I'm not where society says I should be, all that kind of stuff, right? So we could go right to the root cause of it, and we could get into the body, and we could connect in meditation and breath work, very, very powerful for just calming the body, releasing this physical tension, and your nervous system will follow. It will calm. Your brain waves will slow. You'll get out of this fight or flight mode. And when you do that, a whole new level of clarity comes forward.
Hmm. So when you're saying let's say, because I always thought, so let's say many times our shoulders are tight and then like we let them go. So it's not that I'm hearing a message from the shoulder. I'm relaxing the shoulder, I'm relaxing the body, and through me relaxing, through relaxation of all of the body and being more calm. So then whatever message doesn't have to be from the shoulder, but whatever message wants to come up or maybe not come up, but we're much more in a place of accepting and being open for things to come up, rather if
Yeah.
we're all tense. So it's not the, hey, you hear one, two, three talking.
That's a great point, because yes, what your body is showing you is that there is tension. Now, that tension in that moment may be manifesting through the shoulders.
Hmm.
Okay. So the message is we've got some tension here. There's stuck energy. Things are tight, things are constricted, meaning your energy flow has slowed down. Okay. That creates anxiety in the body and in the mental field, in your mind. That creates overthinking. So the tense shoulders are a way for your body to say, hey, get back in here. Let's focus in here for a few minutes so that we could slow it down.
Got it.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. So after we did, we went through these steps and now we're more calm, we're aware, we detach, we're observing our thoughts. We
Mhm.
still want to know our purpose. Or should we want to know our purpose? Maybe we shouldn't. I'm confused already. Maybe we should just say, okay, maybe we're just
You're getting there, right? So we're detaching, we're releasing this belief that we are separate from our purpose, that we don't have our purpose. Okay. My number one thing that I teach is for people that come to me and say, Mark, I need to find my purpose. I say, for right now, your purpose is to get aligned and to get centered and to get calm and be in this energetic space of content and knowing that I have everything I need in this very moment. Okay, that gets you completely present. Okay, that's your number one purpose. It's to detach from that mental noise, detach from those limiting beliefs, and allow yourself to get centered and present in the moment. That's the most important thing. From there, then we start to lean into whatever it is that starts to come forward out of that space. And we take steps in different directions to advance us forward. You're never going to really unlock your purpose, right? But what you're going to be able to perceive is what is that next step in the moment. And we want that next step to be detached from that old identity. Otherwise, you repeat, like you said earlier, those same patterns. So
yeah.
if I could be present, if I could get centered, and if I could be, okay, I am fine with that without knowing. I'm great with it. That next step that will light you up, you're creating the space for that to come forward. And then you take an action in that step. And then the next step lights up, right? And then maybe you go down a path, you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I'm not really feeling that now. Something else comes forward. So you're letting something greater direct your flow, direct you down a path than cultural conditioning and limiting beliefs.
Basically, something that is really important over here, as you said, is being okay with not knowing
Yeah.
and just being curious to whatever it is that comes. So it's not that now we'll say, okay, we're not going to fight whatever was. We're accepting what we are. We're observing. It's not that you wake up in the morning, wow, this is my purpose today.
Right.
Beautiful. No, it's you're okay with not knowing. You're curious to what happens, and then something will unfold, right? And the next step will just uncover.
Mm-hmm. And you be okay with not knowing, right? As long as that takes. Because what's happening is while you're sitting there not knowing, you're feeling all of this conditioning because your mind and your body is going to be saying, this isn't right. You need to know. You need to be doing something, right? You need to
Oh,
be
for sure.
right. Those are the thoughts that come up.
Yeah.
So be okay and sit in presence with those thoughts, and we fully embrace them and we fully feel them because we want to have compassion for that. That's an old aspect of you that has served you up until this point. But think of you're shedding your layers, and the new you is coming forward now. That old no longer serves you, but yet you still have love and compassion for that because it got you to where you are today. So that's important. So we want to feel that because it's going to be a wrestling match with your mind. Your mind's going to say, how can we sit here and not know in this unknown?
Yeah,
This isn't
it's
right,
going crazy.
right?
Like I want to do this. I'm like, how is it that I can't know? It's like, am I not okay? Is something wrong with me?
Yeah. And
Uh,
you could do, if you have a thought, I want to do this, I want to do that, that's okay too. You're not going to resist those things, but it's important to be aware of how you feel before, during, and after. And are you giving yourself the time to reflect on that and get centered and find that stillness, find that peace inside and say, you know what? Yeah, I'm not doing anything right now according to my mind, but me getting present is really the most important doing that I can do because that's going to open me up and allow for things to come forward that the old version of me just didn't have the bandwidth to be able to see.
Beautiful. And basically, we're human beings having a human experience, so we're not human doings.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be. And I think I want to put an emphasis over here on something really important that I'll say I didn't do it well in the past. You said being not only being okay, also being loving, forgiving, and accepting for whatever
Yes.
was in the past, because that served us until now. And I could tell you personally, like when I
Hmm.
used to bang with whatever was in the past, and I was like, no, how could that be? How did I do this? So no, you're saying take a
Yeah.
deep breath. Okay, this is what served you right until now.
Love
And
and compassion for that. Yeah. I mean, think of it this way. So, like, you first get your driver's license, you want to jump in a car, you want to zip along 100 miles an hour, 110 miles an hour down the highway, right? That's exciting. That's fast. You do that for years and years and years, and finally you're going to get to the point where you're going to be like, you know what? I'm missing all of this beautiful landscape because I'm just operating too fast, right? So we slow it down and then we start to be able to appreciate all of the amazing landscape that was there the whole time. We were just moving too fast to see it.
oh, for sure. I have a practice. I do gratitude meditation. I told myself
Mhm.
always that the most amazing things in life are the ones I take for granted. So I wake up and like I put, my hands on my eyes. I'm like, wow, I can see. I can hear. I have trillions of cells in the body, not 5, 10,
Yes.
20, like trillion. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh wow, this is so beautiful, this bird here. And it's like
Hmm.
there are so many things that we could be grateful for. And
Yeah.
I'll just say about gratitude because that's a different conversation. I think gratitude is amazing, and it's not to cover the challenges that there are. It gives us power to deal with the challenges. It's not to say, hey, there's no challenges, everything is great, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And there will be challenges. Challenges are part of the journey. Just like the challenge
the
is
best
to
teachers.
that's that yeah, I mean that's the learning, that's the growth, right? So if we're constantly staying comfortable, we're not in an expansive state. So being comfortable with not knowing what that is very expansive. We want to be able to lean into that unknown and make that normal for us. Like, okay, I don't know what my purpose is, right? I haven't connected with it. I know I have one, right? I'm just not experiencing it in this moment. I'm going to sit with not knowing and I'm going to be okay with that.
Beautiful. Be
And
okay
that's so,
with
so
that,
powerful.
and also understand, Mark, just going to what you said before, that maybe our purpose is daily. Like, could this be like a daily
Yeah.
purpose? Like, how am
Yes.
I going to live today? Am I living out of a place of awareness, of just listening inside and being okay with what's happening? Because
Yeah.
so if that's the case, and then when I'm in that state, in that energy, so I'll react or act or be in the way that is through my purpose.
You'll be more intentional with what you do, and you'll bring a new level of energy to it instead of acting out of the old conditioning, right? Because we do the old stuff because we're conditioned to it, right? That's just what we do. But when we start to act with intention, we bring a new energy to it, and we're more in tune with, is this thing I'm doing resonating, right? Does it feel good? Is it fulfilling me, right? And then that becomes your gauge going forward. Not this old set of instructions that says you need to be doing this or you should be doing things this way. You're now doing things that are fulfilling for you, right? And you could bring, we all have mundane things we need to do, things we have to do in life, right? We got to pay our bills and we got to earn money somehow, right? There's different ways, but how do we choose to do that is what becomes important, right? There's different ways of earning money. Yeah, we have to pay our bills, right? But you'll bring a new level of energy to even mundane tasks like that because you'll appreciate the fact that you have the ability and resources to do that. You know what I mean? So everything starts to shift for you. It's like a mindset shift.
Interesting. So you're basically saying that I might still do the same thing, but I'll bring in a different energy. So
Hmm.
the person after they took the break and not I don't know if a break, but are accepting of what it is and are fine with not knowing and breathing. they might still be, they might even continue doing the same thing, but from a total different energy,
Yes.
and that energy is their purpose.
Well, what the energy does is it allows them to further deepen that state of presence and open up and start to perceive other opportunities to experience more of that energy. So if we keep doing something from a lower frequency perspective, right, we're just doing it because we've always done it that way, you're going to be bringing that same kind of energy to whatever it is that you do. So you're never going to get fulfilled. Okay, so when we start to detach from that, say, okay, those are just things that I'm doing. Some of those I really have to do, right? Like you said, we're human here in human form. There are certain things we need to do as human beings. But if I could detach from the conditioned part of it, the low level of energy, become present and bring something new forward, the energy I bring to that changes. So instead of maybe jumping from job to job to job, you bring a new energy to it, and all of a sudden that affects quantumly other people around you, and now opportunities open up that are in more alignment with you, and they start to fulfill you. Does it make sense?
Yeah, sounds right. I will say
So now
that
we're getting into the energy of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it sounds like the energy is driving everything over there.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
and there's also a voice in me, like a part, if we're talking about parts of IFS, but there are part that is saying like, really? Like just sit quietly, be okay with whatever is and being okay, like really? That's the solution?
And
So
it brings a new energy forward because something will light up with you and you will connect with something. You will be like, it like peels you away. It takes you out of that movie and puts you in the seats. Okay. And you'd be like, oh, okay. Well, you know what? Me doing these things this way for all these years
mm,
was a choice, but it was an unconscious choice. I was doing it because I was told at some point in my life, this is what you do. Now it becomes a conscious choice. And then you could choose, do I want to keep doing that? Is it serving me? Or do I want to look for something else? Sometimes you need to keep doing it until you have something else. So what you do is you just bring that new level of energy to that, and maybe that next step through that appears, right? Maybe you get moved into a new position or something that you couldn't even perceive as possible when you were operating from the old identity. But you
mm,
take it one step at a time.
yeah, it sounds from you, you're saying it's a daily practice of, just
Hmm.
being aware, accepting where we are, accepting that we won't know. And by the way, someone who thinks they have control over life, I think at least is wrong because there it's so many things like out of us. It's like
Yeah.
we're in a certain you could just look up at the stars and the galaxies. You're like, wow, I'm like this
Yeah.
part here, but not that big. So many
Yeah.
like I think most is out of our control. I'll say like, personally that before I go to the next question, like for many years I was looking for this, this big purpose in life. And then I said, no, no, I'm waking up in the morning. I put, my hand on my heart and head, like I said, like, please guide me through my heart, my head, my body, my spirit to my purpose today. And
Yeah.
whatever it is, it will be. And just being open for it to come. And before I move on to my next question, anything else you want to add to what I said about finding our purpose?
Yeah, I think it's important to wake out a lot. A lot of people are in this slumber, like I said, multiple times going through their day just unconsciously, really, right? Just going through the motions. Bring awareness to everything it is that you do. Because when you bring awareness to it, no matter how mundane the task is, you bring an awareness to it, right? You get present and you do it from a new higher frequency state of being. That just allows for such an expansive potential in that moment. What you're doing now is you're acting from a state of consciousness. Okay, you're no longer unconscious going through these motions. And again, when you're present and you're doing these things, it just opens you up to it expands. It's like a satellite dish, right? It expands your bandwidth to be able to have amazing things just drop in because you're present and you're available for that to come forward.
I have one word question. How?
Mhm.
One word, like how do you become present through the day?
Well,
It sounds so
there's things that we're like, okay, I've got to do throughout the day, right? There are things you're going to have to do, right? And this is what I teach, is that it's so important to throughout your day take a few moments and reconnect with your body. Reconnect. Remember that you are a divine, like just energetic being. You're a multidimensional energetic being, right? You are, like you said earlier, having a human experience. Okay. Reconnect with that. And you want to operate from that perspective as much as you can. That's called being conscious. And when you're not conscious, you're operating from that limited avatar or identity that the limiting beliefs and cultural conditioning has created for you. And you're not able to see the bigger opportunities. You're not able to perceive them. So when you're more aware, more conscious, and you do that and go back to that throughout your day, everything just starts to expand for you. So you need to consciously do it, you
Yeah.
know,
So it's not enough
throughout your
basically,
day.
Mark, to do the morning meditation because that's only a few minutes in the morning. It's
That's
like
right. So you do the morning meditation, you
you're
feel
breaking a
amazing,
big
you feel
myth over
great,
here.
you go off into life, and then all of a sudden throughout your day, your vibration's doing this.
Right, exactly.
That's what happens, right? So throughout your day, I mean, I used to, like way back in the day, I'd put reminders on my phone that would tell me to remind me that I'm a multidimensional energetic being. I should stop and breathe. Like every few hours, just
Like you
stop, take
do
some
like
breaths,
this, like you showed
center.
before. Put a
Yeah,
hand.
just very simple. Whatever resonates. You can
Okay.
just close your eyes, bring your shoulders back, open up your heart, put your hand on your heart, and just breathe. Take 5 to 10 breaths deep and connect in with your body. Very simple. Okay. Just very simple. You can bring energy into your heart space, fill that space, expand that space. Do that for a few moments, and you'll notice that your brain, the brain waves will shift. Your
Oh,
mind will quiet. It will slow down a little bit. You become instantly more present.
oh,
Instantly, right? So it wakes you back up in the throughout your day. You're constantly returning to a state of consciousness and not a state of programming. So that brings new energy to everything that you're doing. Okay.
beautiful. So that more consciousness is also new energy, but it's also being aware of our purpose. Because if we're not aware, so the purpose might, well, probably is driving right through us. Like we
You
said, we
got
can
it.
escape,
hmm
not seeing it. So the way to see it is stop now. I want to
Slow
say, no,
down.
you don't need to take it to the edge and every 2 minutes stop. Like you can't live like that. But I
hmm
think something really important to understand here is what you said, and this might break a myth for everyone. Morning meditation is beautiful, but it's not enough. Because some people will think, okay, in the morning I'll wake up for 10, 20 minutes, half an hour.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful start, all in. But then you're saying if we really want to see that beauty, that landscape, that treasure that is in us, that purpose that is shouting like to come out, we need to practice more awareness.
More
That's beautiful.
awareness throughout the day. And it could be as simple as taking a walk outside, right? And connecting
Without
with
the phone.
nature and getting present, right? Or
Yeah.
the phone, right? The phone reminder to breathe, which is what I did because I worked in an office years ago where it was, I couldn't always get out. So I would just have this reminder set to kind of break the cycle so that I could just reconnect. And when you reconnect here with your body, your brain waves slow down, your nervous system slows down, and you become more available, more whole in that moment because you're not focused out here in all of the noise that's going on. You're back in your body, you're collecting your energy and then you become more present, more available for feeling opportunities. Something may come up that may light you up, and you're like, okay, I want to take a step in that direction, right? You might not have seen it before when you were focused on all the doing and the anxiousness.
Beautiful, beautiful. I really love that. And I also want people to understand because some people might say, well, I don't have purpose. I'm not, it's not my journey. You're saying it's here, it's there. You just need to connect it. You'll connect it by being more aware throughout the day because it is there. It's there for everyone. Doesn't matter who you are, it's there. You
That's
just
why I tell people that's your purpose. That's your purpose. Your purpose is to slow it down and get connected. You
beautiful.
start right there. So everybody has a purpose, wouldn't you agree?
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Until we get to that stage of
Until
understanding that, I want to
Mhm.
ask a question, Mark. What do people, because when we get there and understand what you just said, That's beautiful because it's there for everyone. But
Yeah.
until we get to that stage, what I want to understand is, do you have any tools that can hold people through that stress, that fatigue, that waking up in the morning, like another
Hmm.
day? It's like, what are the tools? And because, like we said, at the beginning of the interview, it's not one morning you wake up, oh, amazing, I'm there. So until
Right.
we get to there, what are the tools you can share to people that would help them, be more calm, be more fine with themselves, more accepting? Basically, the tools to navigate that energy that would help us to navigate through, well, I don't know if navigate, maybe find that energy that would help us navigate through that change.
Yeah, well, what I recommend, and I've got a lot of different videos on my YouTube channel that address all sorts of scenarios and things, right? And there's breathwork videos. But one really powerful thing you can do in the morning is before you even get out of bed, is to do a body scan. Like mentally close your eyes and reconnect with your body. Is there any place my body is calling me to right now that needs attention? Okay. Am I tense somewhere? Is there an ache? Is there a pain? And then we could actually divert energy through breath into these areas to reconnect and kind of bring them back online. Okay. And again, this goes into a whole other discussion
Right.
with building circuitry and stuck energy in areas in the body that are offline. So your body will always show you where you could bring more consciousness to it to bring it back online, so to speak, right? And that's how we get present. But first thing in the morning, uh, just close your eyes. When you wake up, close your eyes. Like you said earlier, be grateful. Okay, be grateful that you have this opportunity of awareness, of consciousness to become present and focus on your breath. Take 5, 6, 10 deep breaths. Where in your body is your body calling you to? Okay, is there any tension? Is there any ache, pain, soreness, whatever? You can focus into that and breathe into that. Okay, you
But
can move energy, and I've
let's
got
say, for
videos that will
example,
show you how to
Mark,
do that
no,
into
so
these
let's say
areas.
I'm feeling now my lower back. Okay. For example, I
Yep.
woke up, I feel my lower back. What do I do?
You could, if you feel it, then you're aware that there is energy that is stuck there. So you could actually breathe into that area by bringing and visualizing energy moving in and bringing it to your lower back. And one thing you could do is to move your body in a way that creates a little bit of tension in that lower back area. So you could really, really feel it. Because when we have these aches and pains, that's your body's way of saying, we need more focus here. So if I could squeeze that and make it a little bit louder, that helps me focus more deeply into it. So I could hold that and feel it and breathe with it and feel that tension, feel that soreness, and breathe with it and constrict it for a few moments and then release it. That helps to release energy that's stuck there because that's what you're being shown. And the amazing thing about it is this stuck energy is what's creating all of these crazy, wild thoughts throughout your day. Like I said earlier, your body is showing you exactly where it is. You just need to listen to it. So in the morning, the first thing, powerful opportunity to connect with your body and bring awareness to all of these areas that your body is showing you.
Wow. So basically being aware to that,
Yeah.
that's being aware sounds like everything.
Getting the theme here, aren't you?
Yeah, it's like being aware to this, being aware, but
Yeah.
it's beautiful that you're saying that, Mark, because maybe
Yeah.
we've been feeling these things for years in our body, and our body just wants us to say, hey, I'm here, like, hello. Uh,
Mhm.
that's beautiful.
And what
Any,
happens? We're like, okay, my back's sore. I'm going to get out of bed and I'm going to go take a pill. I'm going to take a Tylenol or
oh
something.
my
So
God,
I don't have to feel it. When your body is saying, hey, can you just give me a moment and feel this? There's stuck energy here. That's why I'm getting your attention with this. Please just give it some attention. That's
oh,
what's happening.
for sure. There's a beautiful saying of Brené Brown that she says, in order to heal, you need to feel.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that in this generation, and again, I'm part of the generation, but we're accused of that. We have a lot of beauty in us for sure, but we don't, in order to see it, we need to feel. And the first thing we do is take a pill against this, a pill, like, it's all good. It's like, I could say
Mhm.
about myself, even like, I have all these steps I do for myself. I go through challenging times. And then I realized I'm missing one big step. and it is
Yeah.
to feel it. Like, and I don't take the pills, I don't do all that, but I know I'll go run, I'll go help someone, I'll go do, and instead of wait, maybe it's not the time before I go do whatever it is. Just feel it. Go in. Feel, be aware of it. So it's
It's the
beautiful.
same thing. That's self-care, right? So it's like before I need to do the task, I'm going to get present. I'm going to feel what's going on in my body, like we talked about earlier, and I'm going to bring new energy to it. Same thing with these aches and pains and all that, or going to help somebody. Because if you could reconnect and get your energy moving before you go help somebody, you're helping them on a whole new level because you're bringing a much more conscious, higher vibrational aspect of you to the situation
Mm.
just
Mm.
by getting present beforehand and feeling.
Well, I just want to say one word about this whole thing about being present. It's something that is worth gold, but if you know whoever is listening now, you're going to try that and it doesn't work the first, second time, like we said before, it's not the time to give up. Practice again. Anything worthwhile in life has work and practice and repetition into it. There was nothing you were born with that was good. So it's really it's gold what Mark is saying here, but understand that it's not okay, all of a sudden I'm like that. It's a practice, and anything you practice, you get better. And it's for sure worth practicing because that's one of the best ways to connect to your purpose, being aware, being accepting. So
Yeah.
thank
I
you
mean,
for
it takes, think of how much at the beginning, it's like you're pushing a boulder up a hill, right? Because you've got decades of circuitry within your body, neural circuitry,
wow.
and patterns that you're trying to change, right? So it takes a lot of consciousness, a lot of awareness, a lot of focus
Mm.
to be able to do that initially. Now, once you start getting into a flow with that and you're consistent with it, you start to build those new neural pathways. Your body will all of a sudden start to lead itself out of this anxious, overthinking mind energy all by itself after a period of time because you've led it to that consciously. That will become your new programming, but it takes time.
Yeah, I like anything worthwhile in life.
That's right.
Before I move on to my next question, is there any like you said, there are plenty of tools in your channel, and I'll put a link down below. But before I move on, is there any other tool that you want to recommend? You know, if someone wants to raise their energy at this time that they're going through this conflict and that noise inside that is like going crazy over there. Any other, you know, really good tool people can use? You
Yeah,
mentioned.
there are, when it comes to tools, there's so many different tools and modalities out there, and each one, will resonate with different people. So
I
I
love
always
that.
tell people, whatever works for you, whatever helps you to to detach from that mind, to take that mask off and be able to reconnect with your body. And again, my go-to is breath work, right? Well, I'll just and you get to the point where it's like 5 breaths will calm your nervous system, right? It takes time to get there. That's my go-to. Some people it may be being around animals, right? I've got clients I work with, they're pets, or maybe some people will go out and they'll hug a tree, right? That will get them present because nature will help to get your energy moving. So whatever it is that works for you, but the most important thing that you can do is to be consistent with it and to do it throughout the day. Here's one more important thing I want to add to that a lot of people will wait until they're in this anxious fight or flight state to
Mhm.
utilize their tools. Utilize your tools when you're in a calm state because it's a lot easier to get present from the calm state than it is from the anxious state. And if you can do that throughout that's why it's so important throughout the day to do it no matter what your state is, right? Even if you're not feeling anxious and not stressed, do it because it's easier to show your body a calm state of being from more of a neutral place than it is a freaked out fight or flight anxious state, right?
Yeah,
And do that enough when you get triggered and when you get stressed, it's going to be so much easier to bring it back to center because your body's been conditioned to it.
for sure. Well, I think you must start practicing from that calm place. It's like from the calm,
Hmm.
because if you don't start from the calm, it's like going running a marathon and you never ran a mile. It's like you're going to that crazy place and
Yeah.
wait, start when you're in the calm place and throughout the day, like you said. So I think that's beautiful. I do want to understand, you know, towards this time of the year, something that comes up a lot. Uh, that you know towards the end of the year. that people, let's say they're in this place of awareness and things are coming up and now they're going towards their next step. They write down whatever it is they want to do.
Hmm.
Don't really follow up with that thing. Uh, how well, it doesn't have to be basically on what we spoke until now, but how does someone stay consistent with the energy that would help him actually achieve whatever it is that they got in their paper this time?
Yeah, and that's a great point, and that's a great discussion. Probably might go beyond this. But when we're writing down goals and we're writing down, okay, we've got some programming, right? We're coming up to the end of the year, and these are my goals for next year. So this is what I want to accomplish. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and say that writing goals down are a bad thing. They're a very, very good thing. Okay, but I look at it from the perspective of your goals are based on where you're at in this moment in time, because we're expanding. Okay, so if I write a goal down and my mind says, because I've been told that I need to stick with that goal until it's completely accomplished, I'm operating from a more rigid perspective. Okay, so to me, these goals are starting points. Okay, so it's so important to be fluid in not only the goal itself, but how you accomplish that goal and allow yourself to maintain this state of energetic flow because things like you said earlier, things could get challenging. We have challenges with goals, right? But when we could get present and we could get aligned and show our body how to do that, new ways of accomplishing the goals will come forward. And even the goal itself may morph into something or transform into something much greater that you weren't able to perceive when you made that list of goals. Okay. Because now your consciousness is expanded, you're more present, your bandwidth is greater. So it's important to use those as a starting point to continue to get present and allow yourself to be fluid with everything as you go. Because the goals a lot of times lead to um, a state of maybe fulfillment based on conditioning and programming, right? We're looking for fulfillment. We want to be
Mm.
happy. We want to be living from purpose, right? So when we get present, we could utilize these goals and we could say, okay, let's tie it back to fulfillment. Let's tie it back to filling that cup. And then how those goals transform or expand, it's going to come forward in ways that you couldn't even imagine when you made that list.
Wow, you're saying something really beautiful. You're saying that here that actually we kind of need to be aware and also be careful that setting goals is not out of that cultural conditioning that
Right.
ABCD needs to happen. Put out that call, into life that I want AB, and then just be aware and let it be flexible and let things unfold. Because, like we said, the universe is much bigger than us. So we could say we want a certain direction, but with that said, well, period. With that said, with the awareness and just being and letting things coming up, maybe we'll see that is a direction and we just need to approach it a different way or the same way, or we'll see something else.
Yeah.
So just not setting it in the stone. And I think, like you said, there are also challenges along the path. And you said something before, when we go through the challenges or through those tough times, we could do the breathing. Each person could do something that is good for them. You said over there something beautiful, and I want to emphasize over there because comparison is something that we see a lot these days. Maybe also in the old days, but I live my years. I'm not 1,000 years old. So he said something beautiful. Each person has something that is good for them, that helps them relax, that helps them connect inside. And what is good for you might not be good for me.
Mhm.
And we need to understand that each person, there isn't a, one size fit all. Do
Right.
one, two, three, and no, it doesn't work like that. Listen to all these one, two, threes, but decide which one is good for you. And if you don't know which one it is, listen inside. If you don't remember that, maybe try, asking people when you're a little kid, what were those things that got you like lit up or that helped you? Because many
Mhm.
times when you're a little kid, you're, much more connected. And if a person doesn't remember, you could ask people that are with him. So I really connect, Mark, to what you said, that each person, like you didn't say, hey, everyone, do this. You must do breath work. That's the only thing. The rest is no. Each person has their path,
Yeah.
And I think the value of understanding that and of being aware uh, and understanding it's a daily purpose is beautiful. And that way people could connect to that purpose and live, a much better life. In general, I believe that when someone is connected to themselves, so they're connected to their inside to their treasure. And basically, when someone is connected to their treasure, they could share and spread much more light into the world.
Right.
So I think that's beautiful. So thank you very much,
Yeah.
for helping sharing those tools.
Oh, you're welcome. I do want to say something that I think is really, I mean, it's really profound and I think will really help clarify this. But when we talked earlier about not being fulfilled, right? So, the opposite, obviously, we want to feel fulfilled, right? And we can feel fulfilled by being grateful for where we are in the moment and not subscribing to this belief that we are lacking our purpose, right? That we have everything we need in the moment. We're feeling fulfilled. I'm grateful. Okay. So
No
when we're
matter
making a list of goals, yeah, go ahead.
no, you're saying no matter what, just being fulfilled with whatever
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So like if we have our list of goals, and let's say our list of goals is to make $1 million. Okay, I'm just throwing this out there. I want to make $1 million, right? So the mind will go to work to figure out, okay, what do I need to do to make $1 million? Well, when you're operating from an old set of rules and conditioning, you're focused on the $1 million. But you need to ask yourself, what what will that goal bring to me? What do I think that goal will help me feel? Okay. So if I say to myself, well, that's going to help me feel fulfilled. That's going to help me feel safe. That's going to help me feel secure. That's what I want to focus on in the moment. Okay. So if I could feel those feelings,
Okay.
now, as though I have these things now I'm broadcasting to the universe, give me more situations to match those feelings, right? So you're getting present, you're detaching from a limited way of operating and doing things. You're operating from an energetic perspective in this moment. You're already feeling the outcome of your goals and new ways of giving you the ability to continue to experience those emotional states will come forward. And it may not be the exact way that you wrote down how to do these things. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's beautiful. So you're saying it's basically don't think that what you need is that thing over there. It's basically understand what's the feeling it is that you're wanting to come. And then just be aware that feeling might come from different places, not necessarily that thing that you said. So that's beautiful. And I think it also opens a lot more options because you're saying the second you're saying that thing needs to bring that feeling. So wait, there are many other things.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and you
Beautiful.
start to realize, well, maybe some of these things already exist around me. You just weren't seeing them, right? Because you told yourself, I needed the $1 million. That's the goal to feel this. But you can feel it now. And when you feel it now, all sorts of opportunities to continue to expand on that appear.
Wow. That's really beautiful and it basically brings much more options to the table to
Hmm.
serve those feelings. And by the way, also maybe along the path we'll understand that, we're needing or wanting or looking for different feelings to come through.
Yeah.
And that would help us, connect to our inner self, to our, like I said, I believe each person has their like unique treasure. So that, the treasure of feelings.
So when I'm looking for my purpose and I say to myself, okay, that's conditioning, I could say, you know what, my purpose is to feel connected and aligned in this moment. Now I'm actually feeling as though I'm living my purpose, right? So more opportunities will come into my reality that will reinforce that feeling of me living my purpose.
Beautiful. Wow. So basically that's interesting. Like that from the fact that you're feeling that you're in purpose, so those opportunities of feeling in a purpose will come in.
Yeah.
Wow, I
Yeah.
love that. That
More
that
opportunity to experience that. Yeah,
that
that's the energetics of it. Yeah.
that's beautiful. Wow, Mark, that's beautiful. It's a great ending. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Uh,
you're so welcome.
that beautiful. I'll say it's more than tips. It's not just tips for life. It's a way of living life. Like you said, it's not that morning meditation. It's going through these things through the whole day and understanding that we are our purpose. Whatever we're going through is our purpose, being aware of it, and then basically letting other experiences of purpose coming through. So that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much for your time.
You are so
Wish you
welcome.
a beautiful day over there. And I'll leave a link below to all the great tools and great content that you put out. Any place you recommend people to reach you, except YouTube, Instagram?
Yeah, YouTube and Instagram. My website is soulintegrationcoach.com, and that's got the links to everything. It's got the links to my programs and my courses, everything that anybody could be looking for if they need assistance. Coaching, I do one-on-one coaching as well. So,
Beautiful. I really recommend people to connect, and I'll put all the links down below.
okay.
So again, thank you very much and have a great day by you.
I'm so grateful, my friend. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Okay,
I
bye-bye.
hope you enjoyed the video and you got some tools to overcome your challenges and light your path. For us to help other people, please press that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget that the most amazing things in life are the one you take for granted.